It's time for another episode of Deal or No Deal, where I'm going to show you how to analyze a real estate deal real time. It's a lot of reals, so you can see exactly how I crunch the numbers to determine the buy price. Coming up.
For a limited time, you can get a free copy of Jerry Norton's Data Cruncher software, which finds cheap houses in your area. Get it now at mydatacruncher.com.
If you're new here to this channel, I'm Jerry Norton with FlippingMastery.com, and this channel is all about ways to help you make money wholesaling and flipping houses so you can live your dream life. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss new videos. Before we jump in and start analyzing today's deal, let's quickly review the steps to acquire a deal. Step 1 is find a distressed property. Step 2 is run the house flipping formula to determine the offer price. And step 3 is to make the offer. On today's video, we've already found a distressed property, so we're going to focus on analyzing the deal to determine the offer price. And in order to do that, we need to figure out two things. The after repair value, or ARV. This is the price the home will sell for once it's fixed up. And 2, the cost of repairs. Once we know those two numbers, we can calculate the offer price using the house flipping formula. So to help me do that, I'm going to be using my Deal Analyzer tool, which is just one of dozens of tools that comes included with my house flipping deal management system, FLIPSTER. And by the way, I did a really detailed video explaining how to determine the ARV on properties. So if that's an area you want to dive deeper on, I'll put a link to that video in the description box below and you can watch it later. So the deal we're going to analyze on this video is in Mesa, Arizona. It's a 1,582 square foot ranch on a slab with 4 beds and 3 baths. And as I scroll through these pictures, you can see it's in need of a rehab. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to add this property into Deal Analyzer in FLIPSTER. And using the built-in algorithms, it instantly runs all of the numbers and gives me a snapshot of the deal, which is really cool. But let's take a minute and verify or validate these numbers by taking a closer look at what's going on. Let me show you how to use redfin.com, which is free to use, to look at comps and determine the after repair value. The first thing I'm going to do on Redfin is scroll to the very bottom. Notice right here that Redfin gives us some valuable data. It says that during the past 30 days, the median price per square foot is $169. What does that mean? That means it took all of the sold homes in the entire zip code during the past 30 days, and on average, homes are selling for $169 per foot. So if our home is 1,582 square feet and I multiply that by $169 a foot, it will give me an ARV sale price of $267,000. But that's using pretty broad data because it's only looking at 30 days and it's considering the entire zip code and it's using all types of home sales. In order to accurately determine ARV, we need to look closer at the immediate neighborhood and be more specific with the comps. Let me show you. From here, click on the zip code and it will open up this page and show us a map of the zip code, and the default settings show us active homes for sale. What we're going to do now is narrow it down and get more specific, so we're looking at very concentrated data in order to determine the ARV. So first thing we're going to do is, rather than look at the whole zip code, which is too big of an area, let's zoom in on the neighborhood of our subject property. Okay, we're right here on Millet Avenue. Now let's add some filters to narrow down our results. Over here on the right, click More Filters. Under Property Type, click House, so we're only looking at homes. Under Listing Status, change it from For Sale to Sold, since sold homes tells us what the market is actually doing. Now I'm going to change the date range to go back 1 year. Now notice at this point we still have too much data, so let's keep adding filters. Next, let's add a square foot range. Since our property is 1,582 square feet, let's put a range from 1,250 to 1,750. Now that narrowed our results down a little bit more. Next, let's look at beds and baths. Our property is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, so let's start with a minimum filter of bedrooms of 3, which will get rid of any 2-bedroom comps and see what happens. Okay, that got rid of a few, but we still have a lot here, so let's change our minimum bedrooms to 4. Wow, that got rid of a lot of comps. So now it's narrowed it down to like 7 or 8 comps. Usually I'll keep adding or adjusting filters until I get a list below 10. So then click Apply, and then we can see our list here on the right. Now notice this column here that shows the sold price per square foot. That's why I love Redfin. And as you can see here, we have a range from 178 as the highest down to 141 as the lowest. And at the bottom, the average of our list is right here at $162 a foot, which is actually pretty close to the 30-day average for the zip code, which if you remember was $169 a foot. But before we start looking at these comps, we have another problem. Our house does not have a garage or a pool, which in this particular market is a big deal and needs factored in. So if I go back to my filter and I check must have a garage, it removes 3 comps, meaning they don't have garages. See that? These are actually the ones I want. So let's make a list. We have 751 South Daly that sold for $153 a foot. We have 1107 East 9th, which is also $153 a foot. We have 717 South Spencer, which is $141 a foot. And then let's see if any of those 3 comps don't have a pool. So if I check must have a pool, of those 3 no garage comps, it looks like 751 South Daly has a pool, so let's remove that one. Now we're left with 2 comps, 9th Street at $153 a foot and Spencer at $141 a foot. So let's take a quick look at each of these comps. The lowest is Spencer at $141 a foot. And looking through the pics, you can see it's not updated. It has the original kitchen, it has old tile, etc., which is why it sold for the low price per square foot of $141. And since we want comps that reflect after repair value, let's throw this comp out. Now let's take a look at our last remaining comp, which is 9th Street. Now I like this comp because it looks updated and it sold for $153 a foot, so that's the ARV price per square foot I'm gonna go with. Going back to Deal Analyzer, I'm gonna readjust the ARV price per square foot to $153, which gives us a $242,000 ARV sale price. Now the next number we need to calculate is repairs. So if I go to the Rehab Estimator tool in FLIPSTER, it already has preset unit costs for every item of the rehab, so all I need to do is add in the unit measurements for each thing that needs repaired, which gives me a total cost of $40,000. So going back to Deal Analyzer, I adjust my rehab number to $40,000, and now it's giving me the fix and flip buy formula following the 70% formula. So if I personally were going to fix and flip this deal, I would need to buy it for $129,000. I'd put $40,000 into the rehab. I'd sell it for $153 a foot or $242,000, and I'd make a $36,000 profit. But if I were going to wholesale this deal, I would need to adjust some of the numbers. First, I would need to add my wholesale fee to the equation. So let's put $15,000 right here for the wholesale fee, and I do one more thing. Currently, this formula is at 70%, which is industry standard, but right now, as of this recording in Phoenix, the average flipper is buying at 80% less repairs, not 70%. So I would need to adjust these numbers down to equal 20%, which means if I wanted to wholesale this deal and make a $15,000 profit, I would need to get the contract for $138,000. And that, my friends, is how I would analyze this specific property to come up with the offer price for both fix and flip and wholesaling. Hey, thanks for joining me on this video. Do me a favor, hit that like button right now, and if you'd like to see more videos like this one where I break down real live deals, leave a comment and let me know. I value your feedback, and if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe. I'm dedicated to helping you make more money in less time wholesaling and flipping houses so you can live your dream life, and I'll see you on the next video.